Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to completely dismantle pretty much everything you thought you knew about how your brain handles memories, and honestly, more importantly, how it handles the future. If you've ever thought your brain was simply recording your life like some sort of biological video camera, well, you're in for a massive surprise. We're looking at some truly groundbreaking neuroscience today that completely redefines what our minds are actually doing when we're just, sitting around.
So let's dive right in by pondering a really fascinating mystery. How exactly does your mind anticipate scenarios that haven't even happened yet? Because we do it literally all the time. We imagine what we're going to say in a tough meeting. We picture the exact route we'll drive to that new restaurant, or we sit there weighing the pros and cons of a huge life decision. It feels totally effortless to us, but the biological machinery actually making that possible, it's an absolute marvel.
Deep inside all that neural machinery is this little seahorse-shaped structure called the hippocampus. Now, for the longest time, the hippocampus was thought of as just a simple biological hard drive. But as you're going to see, it's actually a wildly dynamic imagination engine. It operates a lot less like a hard drive and much more like a highly strategic, high-stakes corporate board.
Let's start with Section 1, the myth of memory. We're going to look at the major paradigm shift that completely overturned a long-held scientific belief. For decades, literally the past 50 years, the dominant theory in neuroscience was that a very specific neural circuit within the hippocampus, known as CA3, was basically just a dusty filing cabinet. Scientists genuinely believed its primary job was just to record fixed, constant patterns from our past so we could, retrieve them later. The whole idea was that it was entirely about storing what had already happened. But researchers started noticing this glaring anomaly. I mean, think about it. If the hippocampus just stores memories, why does it actively generate completely new, entirely unexperienced sequences while we sleep or just rest? When scientists looked closely at brain activity during downtime, they didn't just see old memories playing on a loop. No, they saw the brain firing off complex sequences of events that hadn't even happened yet.
Which brings us to Section 2, CA3, the simulator. Let's officially meet the first half of our internal corporate board, the wild, highly creative brainstorming department.
Take a look at this incredibly dense web of connections. In the science world, these are called recurrent collateral branches, and they live inside CA3. In plain English, these neurons are heavily densely wired to talk back and forth to each other constantly. And because of all these weak overlapping connections, CA3 is uniquely susceptible to self-excitation. It doesn't even need outside input. During rest, it just randomly fires off incredibly creative patterns all on its own.
So rather than just replaying the past, this circuit acts as a massive scenario simulator. Because of its chaotic, totally interconnected structure, CA3 focuses on one thing: volume and variety. It generates massive, sprawling amounts of potential future outcomes and weird combinations without you even realizing it's happening. It's essentially throwing a million different ideas at the wall just to see what sticks.
But obviously, you don't act on a million different random ideas at once, right? So, Section 3, CA can, value selector. Let's see how the second crucial circuit acts as the strict, value-driven executive board.
When researchers started investigating the CA1 circuit, which is the very next stop after CA3 in the brain's wiring, they made a stunning discovery. CA1 contains specialized neurons that are extremely sensitive to value. Like, they literally process and represent the anticipated reward of a specific outcome. This was a massive shock to the scientific community. They used to think CA1 just passively passed along memory info, but actually, CA1 acts as a ruthless curator for all those endless crazy ideas generated by CA3.
So here is the absolute crucial takeaway, the contrast between the two. CA3 simulates and generates. It is entirely about volume and variety, just dreaming up every possible path you could take. CA1, on the flip side, evaluates and selects. It's laser-focused on value and curation, essentially looking at all those wild simulations and asking, okay, but which of these actually gets us a reward?
Section 4, Simulation and Selection. This push and pull dynamic forms the core of an absolute game changer in neuroscience.
It all comes together in two incredibly elegant steps. Step 1, the CA3 brainstorming department fires up while you're just resting or sleeping, simulating massive amounts of potential futures. Then, Step 2, the CA1 executive board filters those sequences. As CA3 pitches its wild ideas, CA1 steps in as the ultimate gatekeeper, strengthening only the neural sequences that are associated with a high value or a big reward.
Section 5, preparing for the future. So why does this internal corporate partnership actually matter for your daily life? Why are we built this way?
Well, imagine you're facing a really complex choice, kind of like navigating a literal maze. Whether that's physically finding your way through a brand new city or metaphorically navigating a really tricky career move, you need to find the best path to the reward. Thanks to simulation and selection, your brain doesn't have to figure it all out from scratch in the heat of the moment. It's actually already simulated the various routes and selected the highest reward path while you were just chilling out on the couch.
By strengthening these high-value simulated sequences well in advance, your brain ensures that you are literally pre-wired to make the best possible decisions. When you finally face these situations in real life, your neural pathways have already practiced the optimal choice. Your CA1 has primed your brain to automatically go after the highest value outcome. It's like having a cheat code for life.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to think about those quiet moments in your day. When you're just staring out the window on a bus, or taking a walk, or falling asleep, your mind isn't just idling, it is working overtime. As you sit here, right this very second, you really have to wonder, what incredible future scenarios is your CA3 generating right now, and which ones will your CA1 select to become your actual reality? Thanks so much for watching, and definitely keep exploring the incredible machinery inside your head.